Life. Life goes by so swiftly. Judge Tamara Garwood knows this so well. She is working on the weekend. And today we get a sneak peek at what she sees, and the who she sees. Crime Time presents a courtroom chronicle. Judge Tamara Garwood in This is Court.
We're all good.
All right.
I could use a little more coffee, but
Yeah,
we'll make it.
Tell you.
Right. I'll distract us. Okay. All right, Mr. Ray, I am ready to proceed. You have two separate cases that we're going to be dealing with today. Before we get too far into those cases, I want to make you aware we're doing this hearing by Zoom. If something happens that you can't hear or see me, let me know right away. Otherwise, I'll assume our connection is working just fine. All right, so you are here today on 23 FB-1302 FY. Can you tell me your full and complete name for the record?
Adrian Douglas Ray.
Thank you. And Mr. Ray, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, the court will refer you to the local appointing authority for them to make investigation as to representation. You have the right to a probable cause conference within 14 days of today and a preliminary examination within 21 days. And you also have the right to a trial. Do you understand your rights as I've explained them to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I will have the public defender represent you through Mr. Bellinger, who you spoke with, I believe, earlier today. And then I'm signing the order referring you to the local appointing authority. Now, you gave Mr. Bellinger your contact information. That includes an address, email, and telephone number. The telephone number you provided, can you receive phone calls and text messages?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, if you're not sitting in jail, you have access to that.
Yes, ma'am.
And the same with your email, you can receive email at the address you provided?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. If there's any change to your contact information, you are required to notify the court, and certainly you'll want to make the public defender aware, okay?
Yes.
Very good. Then we'll proceed with appearances by counsel. Mr. Bellinger.
Thank you, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Jay Bellinger appearing with and on behalf of Mr. Ray, who appears via Zoom from the jail. Your Honor, on both charges, we would waive a formal reading and stand mute, and will reserve for bond.
Oh, I'm just going to call the other case to you. 23 F5-5606 FY, also a felony. Mr. Ray, you have two separate cases. And on this file, again, you have the same rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, the court will refer you to the local appointing authority. You have the right to the probable cause conference within 14 days of today and a preliminary examination within 21 days. You also have the right to a trial. So counsel will represent you on both of these cases. He's indicated that you're going to waive formal reading. I'm not going to go through the details of the complaint then. He's also indicated that you will stand mute. That means you'll remain silent as to the charge on each, one charge per case. And I will enter a plea of not guilty for you. I'll schedule you for your next court date. That's going to be a probable cause conference in front of Judge Simpson. He will see you on August 17th at 9 a.m. or as soon thereafter as your case can be called. That will be by Zoom. You will receive a notice to appear and you will receive additional information from the public defender's office. Do you understand?
Yes.
Very good. Next thing we'll need to address in this matter is bond. There are two parts to bond conditions. Those are things the court tells you can and cannot do. If you violate any bond condition, you're subject to immediate arrest. The other side of bond is whether you can be released today on your own or whether you'd have to post a bond in order to be released. I will hear from counsel before I make decisions regarding bond. Mr. Bellinger.
Thank you, Your Honor. With regard to both cases, I will inform that I was able to meet and speak with Mr. Ray. He informs that, I informed him of what I know first and foremost, and that it appears that he may have a couple of probation violations on cases out of Washtenaw County that he has no current holds on that I could tell. So for all intents and purposes, those have not caught up with him yet, if they are going to catch up with him. However, I believe he informed me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Ray, that he's meeting with probation tomorrow. Is that correct? Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So he's working that out already. It sounds like they're already aware. And he also informs that he has a 7-year-old daughter with whom he has an agreement to pay some financial support for. We were asking for a PR bond so that he can get out, start work and continue that support. He and I went over his bond conditions. Oh, I'll also inform the court. He was stabbed back in April. He's supposed to be having surgery on that. So he is still currently receiving treatments for that. He does suffer PTSD from that, understandably so. So that is affecting him while he's in jail as well. He advises that he can stay clean while out on bond. We would be asking for a PR for his release, so that he can prove to the court that not only can he stay clean, but that he can also show up. So thank you.
Thank you. He can stay clean because I'm going to order him to stay clean, and I'm going to make you do some drug and alcohol testing. I don't know when your probation situation will catch up with you, but I will tell you it always does.
Yes, ma'am.
So I encourage people when it comes to those kind of circumstances that usually it's better to contact your probation agent and tell them what has happened rather than let them find out themselves. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to sort of tattle on themselves, but quite honestly, you being forthright will put you in a better position long-term than they find out. And so I would encourage you, if you haven't done that, to speak with your probation agent. So what I will do on each of these cases, I'm going to release you on your own personal recognizance. On each of these cases, I'm going to set a backup cash bond of $10,000. If you fail to come to court when you are supposed to or violate any of your conditions, that's the minimum bond that you are going to face. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
As far as conditions are concerned, you're not to commit any crimes while your case is pending. You're not allowed to leave the state without prior permission of the court. No alcohol, no illegal drugs, and no marijuana. Your conditions, they remain in full force and effect, whether you're in custody or out of custody, and you're required to appear for any and all court hearings and other places as directed by the court. I'm going to give you intermediate supervision at our Community Corrections Department for your drug and alcohol testing. You will have to go tomorrow. They're closed on Sunday. You will have to go tomorrow to do that testing. Failure to appear to commence your testing is going to result in a warrant for your arrest. And remind me, what bond are you going to face?
A $10,000 bond?
On each file.
Okay.
And I don't know about you, I don't have 20 grand sitting around. Most people don't. So make sure you go to that testing. And I will say this to you, even if you think you're going to fail the testing, go to the testing.
I don't have no problem with going to the testing, but like I have a medical marijuana card, so I cannot smoke weed.
So if you have a medical marijuana, it's a valid card?
Yes.
And has any other judge told you that you're not allowed to use?
No, I mean, my whole time on probation, I smoked weed. I showed my probation officers my cards.
Okay, so what will happen is you will have to show Community Corrections your cards. And what I will tell you is you can smoke your marijuana that's prescribed to you, but you can't smoke it recreationally. So it's like, you have a prescription, right? When you have a medical marijuana card, right? That's where you say, yes, you do.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a prescription. It's like anything else. If I have a prescription that tells me I can take 1 pill a day, I take 1 pill a day. If I take 6 pills a day, then I'm not following my prescription. And then I'm going to have a problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Right. So when your doctor, whoever prescribed your medical marijuana card, when they gave you that card, they explained to you, you should use this much, this often. They didn't give you permission to be super high all the time, right?
I don't know, they never gave me no instructions on how much weed I can smoke and nothing like that. It is. Gave me a card for the issues that I had.
Okay, and so in order to function as a productive member of society,
I know how
under
much-
that prescription, hold on, I'm asking you a question. So in order to function as a productive member of society with that prescription and to take you, I think counsel said you have a daughter that you're trying to take care of too. In order to do all of those things, my guess is you can't be smoking weed 24/7 super high, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because if you were, then you wouldn't be able to do all of these other things that counsel's telling me that you're doing,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am. I don't smoke that much weed.
Okay, so you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I will note in the file that you have a medical marijuana card. I'll put that in both of the files that you've told me you have a medical marijuana card. And when you go for testing, you're going to have to bring that documentation.
Yes, ma'am.
So your condition is you're not to use, purchase, or possess alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any other illegal drug. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And if you want to fight with probation about what that actually means or community corrections, you're welcome to have that fight with them. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What questions, if any, do you have for me?
Questions, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Bellinger, anything else we need to address?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Okay. So you are all set. You can stand up and go to the door. We'll get your paperwork to you as soon as we can.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Davis, to you.
Right.
Name is getting put as the camera, a Garwood. Deputy.
Give me just 1 second, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. I am Magistrate Garwood. I'm going to handle your case today. Before we get too far on your case, it's case number M12 12-6554-23. I want to make you aware we're doing this hearing by Zoom. If something happens that you can't hear or see me, let me know right away. Otherwise, I will assume our connection's working just fine. Additionally, the courthouse is closed to the public. The public has the right to hear and see what's happening here in the courtroom. So our cases are being broadcast live on the court's YouTube channel. When we are done today, that will come off of the YouTube channel.
Todd Stephen Darling Jr.
Thank you. And I want to make you aware of your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, the court will refer you to the local appointing authority for them to make investigation as to representation. You also have the right to a trial. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
Very good. With that, we will proceed with appearance by counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Jay Bellinger appearing with and on behalf of Mr. Darling, who appears via Zoom from the jail. Your Honor, as to the charge, we would waive a formal reading and stand mute, and I will reserve for bond.
Thank you. So I'm not going to go through the details of the complaint with you because you've had a chance to discuss that with counsel. You'll certainly have more time to do so as your case proceeds. He's indicated that you are going to stand mute. I need a docket card. You're going to stand mute. I'll enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. I will schedule you for your next court date. Thank you. I will schedule you for your next court date. That is going to be a pretrial that will be with your assigned judge. I'll give you that now. We're going to get you a notice to appear, and then you will receive additional information from the public defender as well. Your next court date will be a pretrial with the 14A2 District Court. That will be by Zoom on August 10th at 11 a.m.
August 10th, 11 a.m.
Yes, and again, I'm going to get you a notice to appear, and you'll get additional information from the public defender. So you don't have to memorize that, okay? All right, the next thing we'll need to address in this matter is bond. There are two parts to bond. Bond conditions, those are things the court tells you you can and cannot do. If you violate a bond condition, you're subject to immediate arrest. The other side of bond is whether you can be released today on your own or whether you'd have to post a bond in order to be released. Before I make any decisions regarding bond or bond conditions, I will hear from your counsel. I did hear testimony regarding what allegedly took place on the day in question. I also have a written request from law enforcement and the prosecutor. I take all that information into consideration. I'll go through your conditions with you and you'll get a copy when we're done. Mr. Bellinger.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I have had an opportunity to meet with Mr. Darling. We went over the recommendations as provided by the prosecutor and the police. It appears that they're recommending an unsecured bond in the amount of $10,000, which we have no problem with. We would ask for that. I have walked through the charge with him. I've discussed with him that he cannot, as I told him, I walked through every facet of what that means with him. He understood that. He has no issue with that. He'd like to prove to the court that he can do that. With regard to his appearances, he has no issue showing up. We are aware of two issues out of Livonia, Your Honor, that he has current holds on. However, advises that they're not likely to pick him up on that. So for all intents and purposes, he has nothing else holding him in here, and we were just asked for the PR. And I also did walk him through the likelihood of drug testing as well. He advises that, and we think it's a good idea. It's definitely not a bad idea for him to be doing that so that he can start proving to the court that he can get clean, stay clean, and live a better life.
Thank you. The paperwork I have says he has current holds with Livonia.
Yep.
And Livingston County.
Okay, I only had the Livonia stuff. However, it's my understanding that they're not picking him up on that. So, but he does advise that he wants to resolve that. So
And the Livingston County looks like it's a driving offense.
Okay.
A driving while license suspended.
Okay. Thank you. Did you already take care of that, Mr. Darling?
Oh, no, I can start paying up as soon as I get out of here.
I'm sorry, I can't. There's a echo on my end anyway.
What did you say, sir?
Well, I make $20 an hour. I can pay $200 a week.
You'll want to work on that as soon as you get out, okay?
Yes. Yes. And on the other one.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to release you on your own personal recognizance. I'm going to set a backup cash bond of $10,000. If you fail to come to court when you are supposed to or violate any of your bond conditions, you end up back in custody. That's the minimum bond you're going to face. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm going to give you your bond conditions. These are not in the order of importance. They're just in the order listed on the form I am going to read from. It's important that you understand your conditions and stay in compliance with your conditions. If you fail to do so, you're going to end up back in warrant status. Okay?
Okay.
In person or through others. No.
No phone, text, nothing.
I'm going to tell you. Okay? I know Mr. Bellinger told you, but I have to say it for the record. So listen to me. And then if you have questions or need clarification, I'm happy to do that. Okay? So no contact with, don't have or attempt to have contact, direct or indirect with her. No telephone, email, texting, internet, social media, Skype, Zoom, FaceTime, Facebook, Slack, Instagram, Snapchat. No contact means no contact. and you cannot direct other people to be in touch with her on your behalf. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you own any firearms?
Nope,
Do you own any dangerous weapons?
nope. A butter knife.
Right? You are not to go to the home, any place of employment, any place of education, or any house of worship that Ms. Thomas attends, whether she is present or not. That will include the 98th.
Okay,
You understand?
totally understand.
And you're living in a different location, correct?
Yep, Whitmore Lake.
You are not to violate any criminal law. You're required to appear for any and all court hearings and other places as directed by the court. All of your conditions exist, whether you're in custody or out of custody, and they remain in full force and effect until changed by the court. And again, if there's any change to your contact information, you are required to notify the court, and certainly you'll want to make the public defender aware. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Do you have any questions for me?
Do I have a time limit to pay off these, the other two?
Your other cases, I have nothing to do with your other cases.
Oh, okay,
I
Okay.
just have to do this case.
okay,
So
work with
any
those.
arrangements you need to make, you'll make with them.
Thank you.
okay. All right,
Any questions about this case?
nope, I totally understand. Totally.
All right. And Mr. Bellinger, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Thank you. Sir, you're all set. You can stand up and go to the door to let the jail staff know you're done. Thank you.
all right, thank you.
We'll be in touch.
All right.
What is your name at the jail?
Patricia C. and what?
I'll be with you in just 1 minute.
Oh,
Do we have paperwork on this one?
All right. Good morning. Oh, it's afternoon now. Good afternoon to you. Sorry for the delay. We've had a lot of cases today and a smidge of a computer hiccup. So with that, we will, there's always a smidge of a computer hiccup, quite
I
honestly.
know that. That's why I hate technology.
Yeah, I have my days. All right, so Ms. C, you are here today on, let's see, case 23-63536. Have you state your full name for the record?
Patricia Ann C.
Thank you. And Ms. C, I want to make you aware of a couple things before we get too far into your case. Courthouse is closed to the public today because it's a weekend. Do you understand your rights as I've explained them to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. I will have Mr. Bellinger assist you, whom you met with already today. So he will assist you today. And then I'm currently signing the order referring you to the local appointing authority. I just want to confirm you have no email address, correct?
No.
And you've given us a telephone number. Is that a landline or a cell phone?
So,
Okay. And do you have text messaging on that cell?
yes,
Okay. If there's any change to your contact information, you are required to notify the court, and certainly you'll want to make the public defender aware, okay?
yep.
All right. Mr. Bellinger, you're welcome to proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Jay Bellinger with and on behalf of Ms. C, who
Excuse
appears
me.
via Zoom from the jail. Your Honor, I would ask that the court read the formal charges against her if you don't mind, and we would plead not guilty after you are done.
Sure. Just 1 second while I update the contact information.
Problem.
There we go. All right. So the complaint in this matter, it's a single charge. The complaint alleges that on or about August 5th of 2023, that you were at in Ypsilanti Township. It's alleged that you did make an assault or an assault and battery upon a person with whom you reside or formerly resided, or a person with whom you have or have had a dating relationship. That is commonly known as domestic assault and battery. It carries a maximum penalty, 93 days in jail and or $500. Do you understand that charge?
Yes, I do.
And do you understand that maximum penalty?
Yes, I do.
Very good. We will have you stand mute today. I'll enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. I'm going to schedule you for your next court date. That is going to be a pretrial with your assigned judge. That will be at 14B District Court with Judge Washington. She will be able to see you on August 21st at 9 a.m. by Zoom or as soon thereafter as your case can be called. We'll get you a notice to appear, and then you'll receive additional information from the public defender's office, okay?
All right.
The last thing we need to address in this matter is bond, and there are two parts to bond. Bond conditions, those are things the court tells you you can and cannot do. If you violate a bond condition, you're subject to immediate arrest. The other side of bond is whether you can be released today on your own or whether you'd have to post a bond in order to be released. Before I make any decisions, I will hear from Mr. Bellinger, and I will go through your conditions. You'll get a copy of them when we are done. Counsel?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have been able to speak with Ms. C with regard to what we assume will be the bond conditions on this charge. I do have a couple of concerns. Well, I do have at least one concern, Your Honor. She advises that she had no problem having no contact with the individual who alleged this charge, who alleged what happened against her. My only concern is that she advises that that is her only place that she can stay at this moment. She does have a cat there. I walked her through civil standby and going to get the cat and her ability to do so. However, my concern is a residency in the interim. Now, she did give me an address. I don't know what that address is for, who lives at that address. I just don't know where she's going to stay in the interim. I don't know if she's had time to think about that, but certainly my concern resides in only that issue. And I think that it appears from what she tells me that her last conviction was in the 2000s, early 2000s. So I'm not concerned with her ability to appear. I'm not concerned with her propensity to be a danger to the community. Obviously this charge is what it is. It's the allegation, but she hasn't had any criminal history.
Are you on my side?
I'm sorry?
Are you on my side?
I am on your side, Ms. C. I'm arguing for your benefit right now. I'm telling the judge that I don't believe you to be a danger to the community. So just let me finish up here, okay? So I mean, Your Honor, that is my only concern with regard to where she's going to live, but otherwise, I don't see her as an issue out on bond, and we would ask for a PR.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk that out. Ms. C, where are you going to stay?
All I can tell you is my best friend, who is also my former therapist in Detroit. He lives in Detroit, him and his wife. I gotta call him. I can't tell nothing else. So if Bob can help me out, can I get the court's permission to go stay in Detroit with he's a counselor, he's a therapist, he's a professional. That will be really the only option. Well, I actually do have another option, but I'm talking about Bob here first.
So whose address is the 14?
It's a non-existent address because the attorney asked for one. The attorney asked for an address.
And whose address?
I made one up. He said, give me an address other than where you have the charge.
So that's nobody's address.
Okay.
Yes, he asked me to give an address other than a charge.
Ms. C, please.
Ms. C, I'm not trying to fight with you. I'm just trying to figure out where you're going to go. So that address is not a valid address, is what you're telling me.
No, but I can get with my therapist, Bob, in Detroit. He's a professional. He's a counselor.
Okay.
All I gotta do is call him. Him and his wife can come down and get me, and they can hook me up maybe with somebody down here. That's my only option. I have one best friend, and he's a professional. He works for a place in Detroit that has mental health services, counseling services, physical and mental health services, and he's the only one that can help me. I've got to talk to him so I can figure out
Okay.
if I'm staying down here or going up to Detroit.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to release you on your own. I'm going to set a backup cash bond of $5,000. In the event that you fail to come to court or you violate any of the conditions I'm about to set, that's the minimum bond you would face if you end up back in custody, okay?
I've never had any problem with anything, so I'm not worried about it.
Okay, then the answer is yes, that's fine. Yes, you
I'm
understand.
Sorry. Sorry, I didn't answer what to do.
Okay, you seem very agitated, and I'm not trying to fight with you.
Ma'am, I'm diabetic. I haven't
Okay.
slept all night, and I'm sweating, which is a diabetic reaction. I'd like to get out of
Okay.
here. That's why
Okay.
I'm not irritated at you. I'm diabetic.
Okay.
I don't know if you can tell. I'm drenched wet. I'm drenched.
Okay, it's a good thing you're not in the courtroom because it's icy cold in this room, and you'd be covered in icicles if you were sweating and then cold in this room. So,
Hot and cold. What are you gonna do?
okay. Okay, so we will get you taken care of as soon as we can. So this is what I'm doing. I'm releasing you. You don't have to post a bond. If you don't come back to court or if you violate any of your conditions, you're going to have a $5,000 bond as the minimum that you will face.
No
Your
problem.
conditions are as follows. You're not to violate any criminal law while your case is pending. You're not allowed to leave the state without prior permission of the court. If you change your address, email, or telephone number, you have to notify the court and you have to let the public defender know.
Wait a minute. I have a problem with that since he gave you, it's a false address.
Right, I crossed it off. We're not using
Okay,
it.
I just don't want to be caught up in nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you get an address, then you'll contact us and you'll
Okay.
contact his office and let
Perfect.
them know where you're staying, okay?
Perfect.
All right. You are not to use, purchase, or possess any alcohol, illegal drugs, or marijuana. You are going to have
Ma'am,
some drugs.
ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes.
I'm a chronic pain patient. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I have been through 16 surgeries. I'm a chronic pain patient and I use medical marijuana.
Wait, do you have a prescription for it or
Yes,
you're
I
just
do.
using? Okay, so I'll note in the file that you have a medical marijuana card. You will still have to go for testing.
No problem.
You'll be allowed to have your medical marijuana,
Um,
but you have to use it within the confines of your prescription.
Right.
Continuing with,
Right.
okay. Oh, she said, right. Okay, yeah, so you're agreed. All right, continuing on. So tomorrow you will have to go for your
Sorry, this is
drug
my
and
alcohol.
alcohol. You're fine. Tomorrow you have to go for drug and alcohol testing. It's across the street from where we are, across the parking lot from where you are now. You have to bring photo ID and $12. If you don't have photo ID, you'll ask the jail to print your booking photos, and then you will take booking photos and the $12. You'll go to community corrections.
I don't
If you
have 12 bucks. I don't have 12 bucks. I don't have 12 bucks.
So you'll have to maybe talk to your friends who are going to come pick you up and ask for $12. You have to have the dollars. You have to go do the testing. If you don't go, you're going to end up with a warrant for your arrest. Continuing, you are not to purchase or possess any firearms, ammunition, or dangerous weapons. Do you own any firearms?
No,
Do you own
No.
any dangerous weapons?
no.
All right. You are not to assault, terrorize, frighten, intimidate, threaten, harass, molest, or stalk anyone. You are to have no contact with David Wallow. When I say no contact, hold on, put your hand down. When I say no contact, no direct or indirect contact with that individual, in person or through others. No telephone, email, texting, internet, social media, Skype, Zoom, FaceTime, Facebook. You can't direct other people to, hold on, put your hand down. You can't direct other people to be in touch with him on your behalf. You are not to go to in Ypsilanti Township, except on the civil standby. You can contact the local police department. They will meet you. You make an appointment. They will meet you there, and then you can get your belongings. That is not an opportunity for you to hang out at that address. That's not an opportunity for you to communicate with. It's an opportunity for you to get your things and move on. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, however, I have a cat. And I may have to leave him there for a day or two until I can find a place for him, because I'm not gonna be able to probably have, you know what I'm saying? I have a cat, just short notice. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, can I have Dave go down and feed my cat for a day, or, because you'll have to contact him. He's gotta be fed and watered. And if I can't get him today, he hasn't eaten for 2 days, that'll be 3 days.
Okay, so I am not going to contact David. And you can't contact David. If you need to go twice, once to make sure your cat is okay and to feed your cat, you can do that, but you'll have to have a civil standby with the police. And
That's all I
then,
needed, that's all I needed. I'm worried about my baby, all right? He's 8 years old. He's my only baby, and I'm worried about him.
okay, but you listen closely, you can't just go. You have to contact the
I
local
know,
police
I
department.
understand. I understand.
Okay. Okay. So I will allow you 2 civil standbys, one to go check on the cat, and then a second civil standby to move your belongings. That has to happen within 3 days.
Oh, wait, whoa. Oh, my, you're kidding me. Goofy can't stay there for a few days? My cat.
I don't care how long your cat stays there. But I don't want
Oh,
you,
my-
listen,
gonna ask Dave.
stop talking. Stop talking for a minute. Stop talking for a minute. There is a problem with you communicating with David. I don't want you communicating with him. I don't want you at his house. I don't want you having contact with him.
I
So
understand
the
that.
idea, stop talking, listen to me. So the idea is that you get your things and leave as soon as we can make that happen. If that can't happen today and it has to happen tomorrow, that's fine. If that can't happen tomorrow and it has to happen on Tuesday, that's fine too. But I'm not going to leave that as an open-ended thing.
You two. All I'm asking, someone's got to get a hold of Dave to let him know I'm not going to get my cat for a couple days.
And you can do that with the civil standby with the police. I just told you that.
I got you.
He doesn't have to keep your cat. If he doesn't want to keep your cat, he doesn't have to keep your cat.
But he will. But
Well, I have no idea what he's going to do. I have no idea what he's going to do, but let's move forward because you understand what you're entitled to do. And you have to understand what you can and cannot do, or else you're going to end up in custody again.
I'm just worried about my cat. He's very important to me. I don't have kids. I've always had furry 4-legged children and furry bristled children. I had 3 Vietnamese popular pigs.
Okay, we're moving on. We're moving on. Okay, you're not to violate any criminal law. You're required to appear for all of your court hearings and other places as directed by the court. All of your conditions, they will exist whether you're in custody or out of custody. In addition to not going to the home that I've identified that address on Devonshire, in the event that that David moves, I don't want you going to his new house while your court orders are pending. I don't want you going to his place.
There's no chance of that.
Listen, if I'm talking, you can't be talking. We're trying to make a recording, okay? You can't go to David's home. You can't go to any place of employment. Can't go to any place of education. You can't go to any house of worship that he goes to, whether he's present or not.
I need to have the ability for someone to get a hold of Dave to let him know what's going on with the cat. I know I know you think I'm an idiot, but it's very.
I don't think you're an idiot. I'm just trying to figure out how to make that happen because I am not going to call David.
Why can't I have my pal, oh shoot, we have a mutual friend. How about that?
Who's that going to be?
It would be, I'm trying to think of his name. I don't know his name right offhand. I've got to go where he lives. I don't know his name offhand.
All right, so I will allow one bit of contact for a mutual friend to be in touch with David to advise him that you can't take the cat right now until you make better arrangements. Again, I can't guarantee what David's going to do with the cat, but I will allow you to do that.
Thank you.
Okay. Never had anyone clap at me before.
Listen,
Do you have any questions for me?
I love my animals. I love my babies.
That's fine. Okay.
right.
Anything further, Mr. Bellinger? Please
Nothing,
say
Your Honor.
no.
Thank you.
Okay. Then, Ms. C, you are all set. You can stand up and go to the door. We'll get your paperwork to you as soon as we can. Thank you.
I'm the hell out of here.
Your Honor, may I take 20 seconds, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So